tech tip for working with ChatGPT for teachers. So I am interested in generating lots and lots of language supports for my English learners. I have a whole bunch of cards that have a contextualizing paragraph about socio-emotional stuff like self-awareness, and then it has some prompts to get students to talk or write about it. And when you're working with language learners, not only do you have to support them in understanding what the scenario that's proposed by the paragraphs, you have to help them with that language, but you also have to scaffold the language that you expect them to produce. And so let me just kind of show you how I use ChatGPT to generate these kinds of scaffolds. So I already have this work done, but I'm going to walk you through how I got it done. All right. There's the title of the card. There is the context and the prompt on my card. There are key phrases from the card, and there are key vocabulary from the card that I could pre-teach or I'm going to be using and I want to draw their attention to. And so that's just pre-selected, okay? And then when it comes time for students to speak or write, I want to provide them with some kind of sentence frame or sentence stem. So let me show you how I got ChatGPT to actually do this. First thing I did was I copied the text from my card. I just stop right there. And then I pasted it in a new window of ChatGPT. I have the $20 a month subscription. I find it adequate. It's definitely adequate if you just want to do it for a month or two to learn how to do this stuff, and then you can take the skills elsewhere. Create a spreadsheet based on language prompts. So I want to tell it what it is I am going to have. I would like to say something like, I will paste the text and prompt in the spreadsheet. I want, just hit Shift Return to get onto the next line. First column, the title of the prompt. Second column, the paragraph and questions for the prompt. The questions start with the phrase, let's double check the phrase, talk/write about it. Third column, words from the prompt and questions that are useful to interpret its meaning. Useful, I'm gonna depart from the text. I could say useful phrases that are used in the text, but I want to maybe branch out a little bit. Useful phrases from the text or beyond the text that are helpful in discussing the topic, and that would be for the fourth column. And then paragraph number 5, column number 5, recommended sentence frames to talk or write about the prompt. To talk or write in response to the prompt. Okay. So I just hit enter and I get the instructions and it tells me go ahead and paste the text. So I'm going to paste the text from card number 1. And it's got a whole bunch of text. I'll just clean it up. I accidentally copied that piece of text that's not useful. You also find that just the way the layout of the text is, it's a little messy, but ChatGPT tends to figure it out. And the output I get after it thinks for a minute gives me a cell. It gives me the title. It gives me the prompt and the question. It gives me the useful words, useful phrases, and then a sentence frame that the students can learn. All right. I could download this, and I'll do that for you right now. So I download the file, I open it up, and when I look at it, I've got my prompt right here. Now, of course, you have to play around with like the size of your columns and stuff if you want to just get it all on in the same deal. And what I'll do is I will copy these to a Google Sheet later. Okay, but it at least generated the output that I feel happy with. Okay. So proof of concept is really what I'm saying. All right, now what I'm going to do is I am going to copy the next card. And I am going to paste the next card and just hit enter. And it's going to think for a minute. And in theory, it should update the spreadsheet. All right, so I've got this spreadsheet. And it looks good so far, and I could just go on and I could copy and paste the third card and ideally get what I want. Now, it's important in any relationship that you have a healthy amount of communication, clarification, and the occasional distrust, and you have high standards. So don't let ChatGPT sell you short. Okay, be demanding in your requirements. All right, so there we are. I downloaded it. All right, and it ends up in my downloads folder as a comma separated variable type spreadsheet. Now this format is actually quite easy to use. I could go to Google Sheets and I could actually import this CSV, and I'll do that for you now. I'm going to import, and then I am going to upload, and then I am going to drag and drop my CSV. It's going to detect automatically, and generally that tends to work. Okay, and then what I also like to do is make sure that I have wrapping so that I can see everything in the place I need to see it. I'm going to stretch my columns out to the right distance. All right, and then if I could just move that over here, move that over here, and now everything is nice and neatly packaged. And do I like the results? So I'm going to check it. All right, Justin borrowed Victor's video game over the weekend and damaged it. Justin returned the game without saying anything. Now Victor thinks he broke the game himself. Justin feels guilty that Victor doesn't know the truth. Scandal. Why do you think Justin didn't say anything to Victor when he returned the game? How do you think Victor would feel if Justin told him the truth? How can Justin make things right? And these are words that would be useful. You know, you have to vet them. You have to see if ChatGPT is making decent suggestions, but you can always come back and you can change that for later. You've got some phrases here, and then you check your sentence frames and see if they are actually appropriate for the task. I think Justin didn't say anything because, great. If I were Victor, I would feel great. And you know, one of the things that I like about sentence frames is that it forces learners down into grammatical patterns that they wouldn't always use. Anyway, here it is in a spreadsheet, and once it's in text format like this, there are all kinds of wonderful things we can do. And I will talk about that in another video.